Greetings, friends. It's your old pal, Cowboy Kevin Mahan of How To Wrestling fame. You're about to listen to our live episode that was recorded at the London Podcast Festival 2018, where Joe and I look at all of wrestling's couples, kayfabe and shoot. We're going to be looking at, can you find romance in the world of professional wrestling? And hey, if you weren't able to come and check out the live show, but you still want to support How To Wrestling and get access to a whole shed load of bonus content, why not check out our Patreon, patreon.com/How To Wrestling. You can get immediate access to over 50 bonus episodes where Joe and I do things like pay-per-view reviews going all the way back to 2015, side ventures, and our How To Revisited series where we go back and add to the story of some of our earliest episodes. Our latest one, re-examining Brock Lesnar, has just dropped. And of course as well, you will be getting the WWE Evolution pay-per-view review as well. We'll be dropping exclusively for backers as well very shortly. Hear Joe's opinions on one of the most important pay-per-views in WWE history, as well as supporting your show and getting access to a lot of content. If you want to support us, you can do so. Patreon.com/How To Wrestling. Becoming just a $5 backer will support the show, help it get made, and get you all that bonus content as well. But for now, enjoy this. It is our live episode from the London Podcast Festival. It's time for How To Couples. Hello everyone, welcome! Greetings! How do I do this again? Greetings friends, and welcome to the second ever live edition of How To Wrestling! If you're unaware, it's the world's first wrestling podcast detailing how to wrestling, how to get into wrestling, how to understand wrestling, goodness knows maybe even how to enjoy wrestling, and today, how to love wrestling! Does anyone in the room love wrestling? Well, that's good. I am joined, as always, my name is Kevin, by my better half, my best pal, and my co-host, Miss Joanna Graham.
Hello.
The question we're going to try and answer today is, can you find love in the world of professional wrestling? Joe is going to be looking at some real-life examples, and I'm going to be dipping into the murky waters of kayfabe and to swim through all the bin water and find true love and happiness once and for all. Joe, I'm going to start off by asking you, when you first got into wrestling, did you find it to be a romantic place?
Now, considering our very first episode was on John Cena, no, not really. Not the most romantic of industries, no.
Do you think that you'll be able to prove to me, though, through some real-life examples tonight, that you think that real love can find a way?
I mean, I think real love can find a way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that romance within the world of actual kayfabe wrestling is such a good idea.
I don't know, because I have this feeling when a bunch of really sweaty, middle-aged white guys get in a room and really put their heads together, they come up with some really good romance, you know?
They're the best at booking love stories, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing that brought us Brookside, so surely it would, it's going to work in the real life. So what we're going to do is we're going to break with tradition a little bit here tonight, because I know nothing about real love whatsoever. So Joe is going to be introducing some people to real-life romances, and then I'm going to be counteracting with, quite frankly, superior kayfabe romances. And we'll maybe see then which can find a way through love and happiness. Joe, you want to take us off and start things off? Who's your heavy hitter? You got some main event players here in love, and I want to see who you're going to come at me with first.
Well, okay, seeing as we're going to go straight to the main event, let's start off with John Cena and Nikki Bella.
Oh.
The Ross and Rachel of WWE. Will they, won't they get together? We just don't know, but probably not. He doesn't want children.
I think we kind of...
That ends that.
The man knows what he wants. Yeah, you were saying to me that if it was like Friends, it'd be great because then you could finally marry Nikki and they'd be like, take the brie, and then make a big mistake and we could get a few episodes out of that. So, John and Nikki Bella, let's have a look at some pictures here. You tell me why these two...
Well, actually, first, I want to start with a video of
video.
just symbolising their relationship. This video, I think, it sums it up so perfectly.
Okay.
Honestly, I can't show you anything better than this video. It does it everything I could possibly say.
Okay, let's take it away then. Ash, we get that video lined up. Roll that bean footage.
Then I'm going to ask you the question. John Cena, will you marry me?
Nicole, I do. Not ever want to marry you because it will damage my brand. Don't you get it? My motto is hustle, loyalty, respect. Because I hustle the fans by pretending to be something I'm not. I'm loyal to myself and the people who do what I tell them to do when I tell them to do it, and I respect one thing: money. And all I want you to do is be by my side and make me look like a good person. And the second you don't, I will broom you into the gutter like everyone else who thinks I'm a good person. I always say, never give up. But that's not motivation for other people. That is a reminder that if I do give up my spot, a more deserving, a more talented superstar will take it. The day is coming at WrestleMania.
It's too real, man.
The Miz and Maurice are going to humiliate us in front of millions of people, and I'll have no choice but to fade into obscurity. Do you think that I want you around after that as a reminder of my failure? I'm not gonna marry you because I don't love you. I only love myself. I'm not a real person. I'm a lie. I'm a ghost. You know why? Because you can't see me. Because there's nothing here. Let's see.
That is stone cold.
At the time, I thought that was really unfair and unreasonable, but since I've watched Total Bellas, it's just the most accurate thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that
that's
is their relationship.
Word for word verbatim, John actually did say that off
Yeah,
camera
all
once.
of that.
And they just ran with it, thought it was a good job. I mean, they look like they're in love, these kids. They've had a little bit of a rocky go of it, Joe, right? I mean, like, what's happened with their relationship with John and Nikki?
It's been a tumultuous time. It's difficult because Nikki Bella, she wanted kids, John didn't. You know, that's enough of a roadblock in any relationship.
What I mean, the king and queen right there, let me tell you. I mean, the thing though about them is that I think they were destined for failure because they set themselves up on this big pedestal, right? Did anyone remember what happened at WrestleMania the other year? Yeah, we had a public proposal on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. That's pretty big. Other than proposing at the Oscars, they don't get much bigger than that. And Joe, I was just wondering like what your thoughts are on these kind of like these public spectacles, these public proposals in front of a huge crowd of people and all that. Like, what are your takes on that?
What, like, do I think it's romantic?
Yeah, do you think it's romantic?
No, I don't think it's romantic at all. I honestly hate the idea of public proposals. I think they're just like the most obnoxious, stupid thing. But, like, honestly, it's like.
Yeah, no, they're stupid. They're dumb. They're dumb. What kind of an idiot would do that? Yeah, they're really dumb.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's so stupid.
So yeah, John, he proposed at WrestleMania, which, you know, if you like big statement proposals, that's about as big as it gets.
Yeah.
And I think for a while that won Nikki over. But ultimately, she still wanted kids. John didn't.
And ultimately, John didn't want to get married. And that's the problem. After you propose,
You
that's an
have to
issue to
get
overcome.
married.
That's a hurdle in
It
any
is.
relationship.
And then they broke up about a month before the wedding, which is quite sad. But then after they broke up, John, he spent some time alone. He filmed Blockers. Have anyone seen Blockers? Great movie. And I reckon when he was filming Blockers, because he plays the role of a dad, I think he changed his mind. I think he wanted kids. But my theory is he gave her an ultimatum, which is if we have kids, that's fine, but I'm not giving up my career to look after them. You've got to do that. Which is why I think then they got back together for a bit, and then they broke up again because, you know, understandably, she doesn't want to leave her career behind either.
Yeah, and Nikki Bella has recently come out with a quote saying, I don't want kids, they're gross. So she doesn't want kids now anymore.
Yeah, no, she's changed her mind.
Yeah, he's a persuasive one, that John Cena. He's won her over in a roundabout way and also broken up with her.
Do you think he cut a promo at any point in their relationship on why they shouldn't have children?
Probably, almost definitely.
Can you imagine how intimidating that would be?
Yes, she probably would make her... I think he's made her cry at least 20 times.
Oh, come on. More than that. Like 20 times a day.
But John's been taking the breakup well, though, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Can we see the picture of John post-breakup? He's doing really well.
He's doing super, super well, John.
There he is. Looking like a sack of meats.
Mark Wahlberg's dad's taking the divorce well. Okay, I'm going to counteract with you, Joe. Okay, I'm going to find someone from kayfabe that I think is, quite frankly, terribly romantic indeed. Okay, we got any fans here of the Big Red Machine? I'm talking about the devil's favorite demon, Kane. Yeah. Okay, Joe, how would you describe Kane? For people who wouldn't know.
He's a demon. Mm-hmm. He's very tall. He's the mayor of Knoxville.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much it. Now, guess how many lovers Kane, who is a masked figure, who technically was burned, but then wasn't, how many lovers he has accrued in his short tenure in the World Wrestling Federation and WWE? 7 lovers.
Are you serious? He's like
7.
Ramona Flowers or something of wrestling. Why?
7 brides for The Undertaker's brother is what we've got here going on, folks. Let's bring up bride number 1, okay? Kane first struck up a romance with AJ Lee, okay?
No.
Not only did he fall in love with AJ Lee, she cosplayed as him the next week.
Seriously?
Right? Yeah, power play right there. Cosplaying as your boyfriend, you're going to get right in there. You can power the relationship.
For this live show, I should have gotten a beard and the glasses, panda shirt.
Yeah, you can pull it off. It's pretty good.
Coming on stilts.
His second lover that he's taken here in our list, he was with, very briefly, attached to Kelly Kelly. It's a very romantic image that we have here.
They seem deeply in love.
Well, what happened was there was a rumor going around that Kelly Kelly had a crush on a WWE superstar. And Kane, big player that he is, was like, obviously it's me because I'm a stone cold slab of beef right here. And then it turned out that she actually had a crush on Randy Orton. And Kane just started stalking her then, you know? Pretty much what happens if you reject Randy Orton. Kane's going to come after you.
He's stalked a lot of people, has Kane.
He is. It's an effective strategy in wrestling. I would not recommend it in real life.
Yeah, don't stalk your potential love interest.
It worked for Brock Lesnar and no one else.
Yeah, no one else. Anything Brock Lesnar does, do the opposite of that.
That's a good way to live your life. Okay, number 3, Kane attached to Amy Dumas, aka Lita.
I can't believe how many pictures there are of Kane actually making out with these poor women.
He's a great kisser. I mean, come on, you can rub that head. It's fucking beautiful. So Kane decided that he wanted to have a demon child, and so he impregnated Lita, and then they obviously got married after that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would that not make the child half demon?
Well, you're saying the demon is like kind of, it's a recessive trait, it only comes through one generation?
What, you think he's going to have a full demon child with a half demon? She's a woman, normal human being. He's a demon.
I thought he's a half demon.
Is he a half demon?
Well, he's not got his mask here, so that's got to remove some demon points, surely.
So the demon powers are in the clothes?
Figuratively, I'm assuming, not literally.
I'm just trusting you. You're the expert. I don't know.
Okay, bring it up next. This is probably one of Kane's greatest lovers. We're talking about Tori here. Tori, one of Kane's greatest lovers. There we go. That is the most romantic picture of Kane that is on the internet. Just a nice hug there going on. So Kane fell in love with Tori, but then Tori, because this was written during the Attitude Era, and women usually took a very narrow kind of view of things, Tori ended up telling Kane that everyone was creeping on her and would get him to go kill people. And Kane didn't know any better. So quite tragic and terrible, terrible behavior from this horrible woman here. Number 5, not Terry, but... Oh, it is Terry, yeah. Not Tori, but Terry. Now, they just made out a few times. They had kind of a casual thing going here. And the reason was, according to Kane, was that chicks dig the mask. So any guys out there like me are kind of thinking, maybe, I've tried everything in the world of love. Try getting a half mask that you can still kiss through. It's a very effective tool. Number 6, he was also briefly entangled with China, aka Jodie Lawler there, who also again was manipulating him to beat up other people. You can see a bit of a recurring trend.
Why would
here.
she need to do that?
Well, look at her. She clearly can't take care of
She
herself.
has a bazooka.
She does have a bazooka, yeah, right?
You don't need a demon if you have a bazooka.
And of course, there's one love for Kane that stands out above all as the greatest love story ever told. You don't know what it's going to be. It could be anything. Yeah! Katie Vick.
I can't believe you've made me think about Katie Vick at this live show.
I noticed that you'd turned around and looked at the picture.
I
Yes.
saw a glimpse and I remember it well.
Well, there you go. I fired my first shot of true love there. Top that is all I can say.
Are you serious? Okay, this will make the next one easy because my next OTP is Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella.
Oh, okay. Okay, I appreciate
The
that.
most unlikely couple in wrestling. I
Definitely.
think we could all agree.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely agree. And it was a difficult one for a lot of us wrestling fans to accept that our favourite wrestler fell in love with a Bella twin.
Look at him as well. He doesn't even look like a wrestler.
No, he looks like a geography
Anyone in the
teacher.
crowd here who doesn't? Is there anyone who doesn't watch wrestling here? Very few. But he is a wrestler. Just trust me, okay?
God, you got such romantic pictures.
I know. I really looked hard for them. So yeah, Daniel Bryan, he was one of the best independent wrestlers probably in the world.
Yeah.
But at the time they met, he was only a mid-carder in WWE, and their unlikely relationship, you know, he's sober, she's Brie Bella. I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase Brie mode, which comes from the time she got ridiculously drunk and threw up on herself. So, you know, match made in heaven.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, do you know how they got paired originally on television?
I do. Can I tell the story?
Please do.
So, during an angle, Daniel Bryan was talking about how he was a vegan, and then the Bella twins overheard him, but they misheard the word vegan and thought he said virgin. So, logically, they started a competition to see who could get him to have sex with either one of them first, but then it turned out he was in a relationship with Gail Kim,
Whoa.
and then they had this whole three-way, I don't know, competition about who could steal Daniel Bryan away.
Wait, so this is no longer a love triangle. This becomes like a love rhombus, basically, or a love square,
A love square.
basically.
Yeah, it's a love square.
That's so funny that Vince McMahon thought that the coolest way to get Daniel Bryan over was if the three women fight over him. I think that won over a lot of wrestling fans, really, at the end of the day, that one.
But like the nice thing about that is Brie Bella fell in love with him during that. He fell in love with her during that. It's the worst angle ever and the best thing to come out of it.
All I'll say about anyone who's a naysayer about Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, watch Total Bellas. Those two are so in love,
Yeah.
it makes my teeth hurt. It is so sweet. They are ridiculously good for each other.
They are. They're very cute.
Okay, can I come at you with some stone cold romance right here?
Sure.
Okay, there's a lot of lonely men out there, and maybe those lonely men think that the best person for them is an older woman. And there's sometimes in wrestling, love finds a way. Stop it. I'm talking about Vicky Guerrero and Edge, yeah. This is fabulous, right? This angle, Vicky Guerrero, who was the widow of Eddie Guerrero, after Eddie Guerrero passed away, she started appearing on TV quite a bit, and she's really great in her role as like, as a bad guy general manager. Now, what they wanted to do originally was have this like young diva search girl called Crystal Marshall play the role of like she was going to be the general manager and Edge was going to sneak his way in there. And she left the company and saying, no, this is gross. I'm not doing this weird like Bonnie and Clyde sexy romance. It's really weird. I've got a husband. So Vicky Guerrero was put in, and Edge, the consummate professional, did everything from nude photo shoots to this woman to making out with her. It was absolutely fabulous. However, like most things in wrestling, it turned out that he was just doing it to get an advantage, and she got back at him by hooking up with Dolph Ziggler. Boom.
Dolph Ziggler.
He's the hunk, right? Ah.
Thank you.
A rebound hunk at the very least.
Okay, yeah, he's a rebound hung.
Okay,
I'll
that may
give
not
you
be
that.
the most romantic one. I've got a much more romantic, but the same dynamic. I'm talking about an older lady, yeah, yes, an older lady with a younger gentleman with a heart of gold, okay? I'm talking about Bonnie Mae Young and Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry. Yeah, love lifts us up where we belong. Okay, so these two, a very unlikely romance you could obviously, because May obviously is a total player. Mark, I don't know, I don't know if he can handle himself. But these two struck up a romance, and frequently on TV, while I was a child, I had to watch lengthy backstage segments where these two, I can explain that, where these two would be like in bed with each other, eating edible underwear, having a great time. It was implied that they had a smoking hot sex life. and she got pregnant at 78 years old, and she gave birth to a hand. Can you go back to the picture, Ash, so Jo can see the hand, the child growing up? That is Mae Young's son there. It was a hand.
Wait, what? Wait, so she gave birth to a fully grown man in a hand suit?
No, it was just a hand. I was going to show the video, but I was like, no, I can't deal with walkouts during the live show. So it was like a mannequin hand covered in gelatin came out. And it went on for like 5 minutes. Like, it was far in and then a hand came out at the end.
Why?
Now, that's the thing, right? There was a couple of viewpoints in this. Number one, that she was an old woman and therefore it was a risky pregnancy. And you know about the certain risks when you're trying to give birth over a certain age. Obviously, over the age of 70, a legitimate risk is giving birth to a hand. Fair point. But when we did our episode on this, in the Attitude Era podcast, we got a lot of people going, obviously it's a sex toy from the 1950s that's been left up there and she's given birth to it. Obviously. I don't know.
I thought maybe like only the hand had fully developed and then the rest of the body just didn't. And then maybe it overcompensated for the lack of rest of the body by growing into... No, I can't explain that. No
grown
idea.
into your man from Friday Night Dinner is what it's grown into pretty much there. So there you go. That's pretty much as heartwarming as it gets. Do your worst.
Point out that fantastic sign.
Oh yeah, let's see that here. Let me have a look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, let's give Mark and May a big hand, everyone, please. True love in professional wrestling. Very good job. Excellent. So all I'll say to you now, Jo, is do your worst.
Do my worst.
Well, no, actually do really good because we've got a bit of a crowd here.
Well, my couples are all genuinely nice couples, except for John and Nikki. That's
Yeah,
it.
okay, yeah.
Okay, my next one's very cute. It's The Miz and Maurice.
Oh.
Woohoo!
Miz and Maurice.
They're a very cute couple.
They're a very
They're
cute
one of my
couple.
OTPs, I think. And they have quite a cute story of how they met as well.
How did they meet?
So they met while The Miz was hosting the WWE Divas Search and Maurice was auditioning. And her English wasn't very good, and he apparently was really, really mean about it and kept teasing her and be like, you'll never achieve anything in this company if you can't speak English. Mean, really mean.
Didn't stop Sin Cara, S.A. Rios. Yeah, he said another name. I assume that, yeah.
She was picked eventually to be a WWE diva, and then only after that fact did they actually start dating, which is like, that's really mean. The Miz only bothered to go out with her after she was very successful and had fluent English.
Hey, he's got standards. What can you say, you know?
Isn't it amazing that out of the two of them, it's The Miz that has the really high standards?
Yeah, I know, right?
Bizarre.
With that perfect face, I mean, they look pretty damn sexy there, the two of them.
My favourite
come
thing
on.
about The Miz is that he dresses like an anime character all the time.
And I like as well, when he came out at WrestleMania this year, he brags about having a hot wife. And he came out through like AOR lettering that said hot wife. And he went like through. It was very, very romantic.
I have a cute quote from him. I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my career. I get to hang out with my wife every single day.
Aww.
That's how I feel.
Well, I'm not your wife.
I guess it doesn't work then. I take it back.
When we get married, that's going to be a totally killer quote to Nick.
Yeah. Put it in your vows.
Have you got another lovely couple to talk to us about then?
I do. I have a beautiful couple, Otis Dojovic and Mandy Rose.
Oh, man. Okay. So many of you might be familiar with these two. We got Mandy Rose here. Okay.
Golden goddess. Like, we can all agree, incredibly beautiful woman. Great wrestler too. Pretty good. And then we have Otis Dojovic, and I believe we have a video that will pretty much accurately sum up who he is.
Or what he is.
This is the gentleman on the right here.
Where do we go now?
Okay, those are two who you wouldn't necessarily think would go together, would they?
And they're very cute because, like, he's a goblin man. And
Yes. He's
She's-
4'3", isn't he? I mean, look at that.
yeah, he's a human thumb.
Maybe he's related to Mark and May's offspring. One of the cousins.
And my favourite thing about their relationship is she basically barely even recognises that they're in a relationship, whereas he will tweet about her almost all the time, sometimes even writing poetry. Can we bring up the next picture, please? So he posted this gorgeous photo of her doing a bikini shoot the other day, and next picture, please. He had this to say about her. Kevin, could you do your best Otis impression, please?
Tucky, those eyes get me every time. Cause my beautiful peach. There ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from dozing to you, baby.
Remember the times. Hashtag does future wife.
It's so cute. Why don't you ever tweet about me like that?
Well, I have done this once before when I revealed the wrestler was actually dead, but I do have a really heartbreaking bit of news about this that was pointed out to me literally within the last 24 hours. Because I did a lot of sleuthing about this. I'm talking, I went onto message boards. No one does that shit anymore. And it turns out they're not actually in a relationship.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and don't worry, because like everyone thinks they are. This is the greatest con this thumb has ever pulled off. Because everyone thinks that they're this lovely odd couple. She's actually going out with Tino Sabatelli from NXT. That guy from Breaking Ground who says everything's gangster. Well, you ain't gangster, man.
There was me thinking she had like the best taste in men in the world.
No, she's got the worst.
She's got the worst taste.
Do you want to take back anything you said about her being like a good wrestler and stuff now? Because it feels like...
Yeah, I will. I'll take that back until she's in a relationship with Otis Docevic, the brilliant goblin man.
He's in the wings, waiting for you. Who doesn't want... I want to sleep on Otis Docevic. Yeah. He's fucking massive. He's like a beanbag. Yeah. It'd be great.
Look at him quoting the Beach Boys. Cool.
Okay, I think that I need to come at you with a real-life one that also has some kayfabe connotations to it. I think their whole relationship is the greatest work of all time. I'm talking about the head man, the head honcho, Vince McMahon, and his wife, the Small Business Administrator of the United States of America, Linda McMahon! There they are, being proven not guilty on steroid distribution. There you go. Serious kind of presenting her like of course I'm normal. I have a wife, you know. Some quotes about Vince is made about Linda during his time as an on-screen character. If I didn't marry your mother, your brother Shane would have been a bastard. Because he went at length on TV talking about he only married her because he had to marry her because she was pregnant and she wanted his money.
Wow.
But I mean, once you get over a trial like that, you're kind of pretty much linked together for life, you know? So strong bonds, these two. Strong bonds. I was going to show the video of when she lost her Senate campaign of like, it's the sweetest thing you can find
no,
with Vince McMahon.
Not. It's not the sweetest thing.
3 minutes of him just silently weeping, going, I thought anyone could be a senator. There you go. So that's one of my big shots there, okay? You're not going to find truer love than those two, you know? Literally, for a tax write-off, I'm pretty sure they got married.
I'm not sure about true love for my next one. I mean, you'd probably know better than I do, but They seem pretty in love.
Pretty in love?
Pretty in love. It's Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Ah, the other wing of the McMahon family.
Indeed. So yes, Stephanie McMahon, daughter of Vince.
That
there they
is
are.
Such a Triple H and Stephanie picture.
Isn't it?
We're taking a selfie in front of the new Shield mobile app with loads of paid content in-game.
It's actually really difficult to find any pictures of them where they're not like in their corporate mode or WWE mode. Like pictures of them just hanging out at home with their kids are very, very rare.
They sleep like 2 hours a night or some shit. It's really, they posted their schedule once and they're like, they go to bed at like, you know, what is it, like 2 in the morning, they wake up at 4:30. They work out all night long. It's really weird.
But I did do some internet sleuthing and I managed to find just like a few pictures of them with various kids of theirs, and they look really, really proud, and it's nice. So
kids.
Can we see the pictures of them with their various proud children? There they go.
He's a big boy, isn't he?
They're proud of their architect's son. They should be the handsomest son of all. Can we see the next picture of them with their other kids? This is them with Charlotte Flair.
I'm noticing a trend here. If you have to be their kid, you have to be a champion.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
keep looking. Can we have the next picture, please? Family photo, them and their proud daughter, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, she beat up all the kids in her foster home, and now here she is with their new parents, Triple H and Steph.
But I think the child they're most proud of is probably the one the next picture, if we could see here. There we go. Lemmy. He's going through his teen phase here. He obviously doesn't want to be in the picture. No, Mum and Dad, stop taking photos on holiday.
Only I can take pictures of my new hat. I mean, I'm just going to say, because the last time I made fun of Lemmy, I got like literal death threats because I had the temerity to say that he forgot the lyrics to a song. He did. So what a fine musician. One of the all-time rock and roll legends, Hall of Famer. He's rocking out in heaven, definitely. In heaven, not hell. So, I mean, okay, they've got a really healthy relationship, but did you know that their relationship wasn't always real life? It did start off originally as a fake kayfabe storyline. Well, Triple H was still technically going out with China. They were linked together, Triple H and Steffi. Look at those crazy kids. Oh. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is Triple H eating a tooth? No, that is just a little bit of gum in there. The whole storyline of Stephanie, who, when I was like 10 watching this, like I thought Stephanie was like a lovely, nice girl. And why would she get with a rotter like Triple H? Well, it's because he was a bad boy. And as we all know, women only like bad boys. And that's why I'm with Joe, because I'm a bad boy. You may not realize it by now. So, you know, they got married, but do you know how they got married?
I think I've heard something about Vegas being mentioned.
Yeah. It's not really like a don't tell the bride situation. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Vegas with all my friends and spend all the money.
Stephanie wants a really traditional wedding in a chapel.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that, unfortunately. Jimmy Havoc didn't show up to tell him to stop wasting his money. He drugged Stephanie but on her bachelorette party when she was getting married to another wrestler called Test, and took her to the drive-thru, and then literally went, oh, yes, I do. And that apparently is good enough in the state of Nevada to get married. So he married her while she was unconscious.
There must be like a word, like marriage rape or something. That sounds really...
Because date marriage doesn't sound good, it sounds really romantic, doesn't it?
Like marriage without consent, that's a dark thing.
But like all Vince Russo storylines, it kind of petered out in the same old way. It just basically ended up being, oh no, they planned it all along. She was in on it. She let herself get drugged. But let's look at her in her first wedding, Ash. Can we have a look at her in the first wedding here to see how she reacted to marrying Triple H? The first wedding, not so great there. Vince looking like he's lost a steroid trial there, not really having a good time at all. The famous words were, I hate you. 2 years later, after 2 years of blissful marriage, they did actually have a recommitment ceremony. So can we look at Stephanie at the recommitment ceremony there? Oh, you only say it peaks on the third year of the relationship. Well, something obviously went wrong there, you know.
What's going on?
They divorced. Triple H came back as a good guy after being injured, and then Stephanie was like, you're my husband and I'm pregnant, so marry me again. And then it turns out she was lying, because that's what all women in WWE do, apparently. Right. And then after like 5 or 6 years where they actually got married in real life, and everyone knew they were married, once on TV in 2005, they literally went, oh, come on, you know we're married. And that was it. They're back on screen together again.
Wrestling
not caring about continuity. Well, I never.
Well, after that, I feel we should go with an actually romantic couple.
Oh, I've got one other little one I want to slip in here. I have tried so hard to keep this secret from Joe, okay? Because we all know, ladies and gentlemen, there's more than one route to power in the world of professional wrestling. Who's the worst man in wrestling?
Oh, well, that's a big question, isn't it?
The worst. Just the absolute worst.
The worst?
Come on now.
Oh, there's so many to choose.
Oh, I should have picked a more specific thing
really
than the worst.
Hard. Like, what era?
One of the first episodes we did. He is a racist.
That doesn't narrow it much.
He's a fucking hot dog.
Okay, Hulk Hogan.
Hey, there we go, Hulk Hogan. What if I told you that Bubba Ray Dudley married Hulk Hogan's daughter in TNA? Can we have a quick look up here? There they are. Brooke Hogan and Bully Ray Dudley there. Hogan literally said, I thought it was made up. I found the direct quote from it. It's on his sex tape where he said, the most ideal person to be dating Brooke is actually me, brother. And the allusions to Donald Trump continue. So there we go, Bully Ray, he married Brooke Hogan. So I think they're fit for each other, though, really. Like, he's literally one of the most horrible men in kayfabe. Hulk Hogan's daughter, you know, match made in heaven.
Well suited to each other, yeah.
All right, you come at me then. Let's go. We need to go a bit more romantic. I think we're
Yeah.
not getting romantic enough right here.
I need a palate cleanser after that, honestly.
This will be an ultimate palate cleanser, I feel.
I think so, and it's appropriate for the day it is today.
Well, what day is it today, Joe?
Well, I don't know if the audience is familiar, but today is actually Rusev Day.
Hey! I'm really glad you all beat the Rusev Day rush to get here. You know, you, my friend, you left all your shopping till Rusev Eve again, didn't you? Rookie mistake.
Rusev and Lana.
Look at that. That is just love right there. Yes!
I like that she just applauds, like, yay!
This is actually basically when we were in Nando's the other day and I had to ask the man to return food. This is basically that in wrestling format.
Yeah.
That's the manager.
So they have a really cute meet story again. So, like a lot of these romances, she met Rusev when she was auditioning for, this time for NXT. And she was there with Alexa Bliss and JoJo and all these really talented women wrestlers. Not so much JoJo in this case anymore,
Yeah.
obviously. But she wasn't sure how on earth she could compete with all these, really talented people.
Because she had no wrestling training at all, did she?
No.
Yeah.
So she was like, next up to audition, she was like, crap, what can I pull out of my ass that I can do, like a special party trick or something? And she goes, oh yeah, I remember, I can speak fluent Russian. So she auditioned in Russian, and then at the end of the audition, she switched back to English, and of course, Triple H and Dusty Rhodes and everyone were very impressed. So they paired her with Rusev. They immediately became best friends and texted and called each other all through the night for like months.
So you're saying that in addition to being a great creative mind, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes is also
Ultimate
wrestling's
matchmaker.
ultimate matchmaker.
He is.
You would love it for Fat Daddy.
And then the very cute thing is they eventually kissed. And then about 4 months later of them kissing on the reg, she turns to Rusev and goes, what are we? Are we together? Are we a thing? And Rusev could not understand this, being from old Bulgaria, because where he lives, if you kiss someone for 4 months, probably means your boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought as well. Is that like an Ireland and Bulgaria thing we're linked with that kind of common knowledge? Oh man, they are literally wrestling's greatest love story
They
early
are.
on thing.
They're very cute.
They were on Ride Along recently and they had to do like the newlyweds game. So, someone asks a question, they both have to answer, and if they get it right together, they get a point. And the question was, how would you rate your partner out of 10? Lana wrote 10, and then I was like, sorry, you got it wrong, because Rusev wrote something different. And she's like, what? What did you rate me? And like a bowled child who'd eaten all the biscuits, he held up a little sign that had like 10 million on it. He broke the rating system for her. What a guy. Okay, I'm going to come at you now with, historically, wrestling's greatest love story. Kayfabe, maybe not real life. I'm talking about, and can we get the video rolling here, Ash? I'm talking about, this is the most romantic moment in wrestling history right here. Macho Man Randy Savage and Elizabeth, look at the love in their eyes, okay? These two here, they embrace, they have been together, they've been apart, husband and wife, pure love. And you'll see here now, right, people in the crowd were so into this that people were just openly weeping, which I don't think I've ever seen at any other time in wrestling. People just got these two so much. Because he'd been a bad guy, and he pushed her away, then he became a good guy again, he got beaten up really badly in a match, he had to retire from wrestling, and they came together, and they actually had their wedding on pay-per-view then. They had the match made in heaven, where these two had a big, crazy commitment ceremony. And I'm also going to announce it right now, episode after next, we're doing Kevin Owens. After that, it's going to be Macho Man Randy Savage. We're going to be doing him, and Joe's going to learn all about him. The unfortunate thing was I tried to learn more about this relationship, and it's not really the real-life love story as it appeared in kayfabe, because Macho was an incredibly jealous sort. He would often berate wrestlers for looking or even speaking to Elizabeth backstage. In several occasions, locked her in a dressing room on her own and instructed no one to speak with her. And at this point here, they had actually just divorced. The whole love story, them getting back together, them getting married, they had just inked their divorce papers. It was absolutely horrible. But goddamn, what a couple of workers right there. That's the most romantic pair of divorcees I've ever seen in my life. So there you go, that's my Macho Man and Liz. I mean, I think you might want to come at me with something a little bit more romantic, because I admit that did break my heart a little bit.
That's really sad. Aw, that hug genuinely had me moved there.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, anyone in a sparkly jumper, always hug him. It's always a good time.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on then to our next couple. Joe,
Yeah.
you got one for us?
Next couple is, again, it's another OTP, but all of mine are OTPs, really, compared to your creepy relationships. We have Bianca Belair and Montez Ford.
Oh, let's see these two here.
Recently
okay, so
married.
Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair, fantastic wrestler. She attacks people with her long braid. She's the best at everything. That's her gimmick. Montez Ford, again, outright hunk.
Oh my God, look at him,
Look
stone
at
cold hunk.
him. He's got the dance moves as well.
He does.
He does.
He's in a tag team called the Street Profits.
He does.
And they're quite, I don't know if anyone knows, they're quite agile dancers.
They
So, Craig, can we get a little bit of a beat going here? Me and Joe got to do a little bit of dancing here, get some dance moves on the go here. You know, you got to do a little bit of dancing every now and then. Come on, let's go, let's get a clap. I'll be D'Angelo, you can be Montez Ford. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Oh, they light up.
these.
Oh. Sorry.
How cool are they? Inspired by Montez Ford, somehow, and Naomi.
Ash, don't bring in the cake. It's not.
What cake?
We'll just eat it afterwards. It's fine. No, we're just going to eat plain white cake later. Don't worry about it, honey. It's fine. Absolutely fine. So, I mean, why are these two such a dream team? My God, those are some incredible shoes right
I
there.
know,
Look
right?
at that.
Look at them. Why are they such a dream team? Well, they're just deeply in love with each other. I don't really have much to say about them, to be honest. I just wanted to show off my shoes.
I would say go on either of their Instagrams and you will see many, many cases of true love excelling all. Those two, they know that they're a good couple. And
They do.
That doesn't happen often in wrestling sometimes. Look at that, right? Ah.
They're just so cute together. I absolutely love them. And speaking of couples that are just super cute and you just know they love each other so much, brings me on to my next couple.
Okay.
Which again, to do with my shoes, we've got Naomi and Jimmy Uso.
Oh yeah, very good. Lovely couple right here.
So we've got Naomi here, feel the glow. That's her gimmick. She glows.
How
So-
can you feel a glow? It's a visual thing.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just saying.
never really understood that. No, it means something. And yeah, she's in a relationship with Jimmy Uso here.
I mean, they're very cute together, the two of them. I must admit, Joe, I've never been able to buy them as a cute couple. I do have an issue with them because we used to watch Total Divas together, and one of the main.
Oh no, you're not going to mention the toe again, are you?
You know, they have. He has a really gross toe, and I don't know about you. I don't like seeing gross toes on television, particularly when I'm not anticipating them. And these two, look how lovely they are. Where does the gross toe enter into this?
It doesn't have to. You brought it up.
Exactly, it doesn't have to. You shouldn't have brought it up. You shouldn't have brought it up, Jimmy Uso.
I want to talk about how they met because again, it's quite a funny, cute story.
Okay.
Again, they met at training. A lot of wrestlers seem to meet at training.
If anyone here is like kind of, oh, where can I go to meet people?
Train to become a wrestler.
Training.
So Jimmy was aware of Naomi, and he knew that she was a massive fan of Rikishi, which, as you all probably know, is Jimmy Uso's dad.
You wouldn't have known that by going to their wedding, though, which he didn't.
He didn't attend. He did not. Awkward
great father.
about that. So Jimmy Uso, being the very charismatic, charming man that he obviously is, thought he'd go up and introduce himself in the absolute worst way possible. He went up to her and said, oh, hey, you like Rikishi? Yeah, he sucks. He's the worst wrestler I've ever seen. And then she just walked off because she was like, well, fuck you then, I guess.
Love lifts us up when we belong.
And later on, he was like, no, I was just kidding. He's my dad. And she was like, okay. Could you not have just said hello? Like, if you wanted to introduce yourself, that's how normal humans do it. They don't just diss their favorite wrestler.
Were they 8? Was this on a playground? Did he like fart in his hand and throw it at her next there? Like, seriously, unbelievable. Okay, now, there's been kind of a bit of a theme here with all of these relationships, and I think something we should point out. These are all heterosexual relationships, and I don't want anyone to think that there's only heterosexual relationships in wrestling. It's not necessarily true. I do think wrestling has maybe had a bit of an issue with wrestlers identifying as being maybe bisexual or gay or a part of that beautiful spectrum. But WWE has, in kayfabe, dipped their toe into the waters. This was an angle that they hyped up so much and pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, they actually got endorsements from GLAAD, the Gay Lesbian Alliance. They actually sent them a gravy boat, an enamel gravy boat, to congratulate them for doing this. We're going to talk now, Ash, if you have the video ready, please, about the wedding of Billy and Chuck.
It's easy to see you are the greatest part of me.
I'm happy to ask you to be my tag team partner permanently.
And commitment is a very special thing. It doesn't matter
So
if it
fucking
lasts 50 years or 3 minutes.
Wait a minute.
What? Did I just hear myself say 3 minutes? Oh no! It's Eric Bischoff, the Raw General Manager!
Here on our show?
Bischoff's got Stephanie! Oh my God! It's Bischoff's heavies! It's Jamal and Rosie! Oh no! Oh my God! No! Put her down! No! Oh, a Samoan drop to Stephanie! The SmackDown locker room coming to protect their turf and protect their general manager. Raw has invaded SmackDown.
Right, so that was WWE released that video 2 years ago, kind of being like, yeah, remember we did that gay wedding? That was pretty cool, right? Now they've conveniently snipped out a few little important bits along the way there, including when the two of them looked each other in the eye and then turned to this guy, Rico, and went, hey, Rico, this has gone far enough. I mean, we ain't gay or nothing. And then everyone's like, yay, cheering massively. They got this massive pop for being like, we're not gay, like we're just doing this as a publicity stunt. And WWE knew this well in advance, but they went around to all these different gay and lesbian groups saying, we're doing the first ever gay wedding in wrestling.
Oh my
And they
God.
took advantage of the fact that all these like news outlets didn't watch wrestling, and they're like, yeah, these two guys, they're obviously, no one even asked Billy Gunn if he was gay. Or Chuck Palumbo if they were gay. Like, they went on Howard Stern and pretended to be gay and all. Oh, it was so cringy. That's the only gay wedding that we've had in wrestling history. And they never once actually said, I want you to be my partner, I want to marry you. It was tag team partner, committed partner. It was all very careful.
No homo.
And yeah, exactly. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, they never at once used the word gay. Like, they were so careful about it. And as a result, I think still to this day, GLAAD says they want nothing to do with WWE because they sent him a gravy boat under false pretenses. Fuck that shit, man. No way. But I think you might have something a little bit more palatable on that side of things.
Yeah, it's certainly more tastefully done than Billy and Chuck. I want to talk about Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
Look, we actually have someone in a golden lovers
Yes.
t-shirt in the front row. Incredible.
So, the ambiguous in terms of sexuality, neither of them have ever actually confirmed what their sexuality is. But they've got a really cute story, which has been going on for about 9 years.
I know nothing about this, by the way. All I know is that I'm really happy that it annoys people that Kenny Omega is playing around with this.
They're not gay, no.
They kind of are, like, I mean, come on.
So, Kenny Omega, he knew it was his destiny to fight Kota Ibushi. That's quite romantic, right?
That also is quite romantic. Look at those ramen, that's amazing, unbelievable.
He's going to eat his own hair with those ramen. So, Kenny Omega sent a challenge video to Kota Ibushi, which then was accepted. They had their fight, and their first ever fight made Kenny Omega cry in a good way, which is sweet.
Wait, crying, he fought him and made him cry in a good way?
Well, it was a really emotional match, basically,
I
which
see.
involved Kota Ibushi doing a Phoenix Splash off a vending machine.
Oh, okay, well that would make me cry.
That would
really.
make you cry,
Right
yeah.
in the feels.
So that was nice. They both had really similar ideas on how they feel wrestling should be, that it should be a form of art and comedy and different athletic styles. And their match was so good that the company they signed to wanted them to become like great rivals. And they said, nah, we don't want that. We don't want to become rivals. We want to be a tag team. So DDT, the company they were signed with, said, okay, fine, you can be a tag team. We're going to call you the Golden Brothers. And they said, no, we're going to be the Golden Lovers.
Yeah!
So they became the Golden Lovers. They are explicitly lovers within kayfabe. And Kenny Omega has said that he wants to end the whole storyline in a wedding. They want to actually get married at some point. But their relationship was not perfect by any means. They've had lots of ups and downs. I won't go over the whole of it, but at one point, Kenny Omega turned on Kota Ibushi, betrayed him, and he joined the Bullet Club. Boo, Bullet Club.
Are you saying boo or boo less cum?
So he joined the Bullet Club, betraying Kota, obviously. And then the Bullet Club beat the shit out of poor Kota Ibushi. Boo. But Kenny, he protected him. He risked his career and he sided with Kota and he looked after him. But that meant the Bullet Club then turned on Kenny, and then Kota rescued Kenny. So they've both like rescued each other at some points. It's cute. It's cute. They've sacrificed everything to save one another.
Yeah, I mean that's really romantic.
It is romantic.
And I also want to say, right, anyone here who's starting off a relationship, generally speaking, you want to get the first heel turn out of the way within the first 6 months.
Yeah.
After that, it's just in poor taste.
Yeah.
You know, it's just shocking for the sake of it. Okay, that is pretty great, right? That's a very lovely story. I'm glad to learn more about the Golden Lovers, and I'm looking forward to actually doing more about both these guys individually. We'll be doing episodes on them, so we'll need to get our research hats on and hopefully have lots of help from our lovely fans to help us learn about Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. I have under good authority that Kota Ibushi is weird as fuck.
Yes.
Because he lit fireworks on himself.
Yeah.
Like.
And yeah, did like back wheels and cartwheels and stuff off a car.
Do you think that's like a romantic gesture to Kenny Omega? Like, until you confirm our love, I will keep shooting myself with fireworks.
Right, okay, you joke, but legitimately that is part of their whole romance angle. Because during that time, Kenny Omega was with the Bullet Club, and Kenny Omega kept stealing all of Kota's moves. So meanwhile, Kota was a freelance wrestler, and he went off just doing anything he wanted to, showing off to Kenny Omega, like, look, this is what you're missing out on. This could be us, but you playing.
These fireworks could be you.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go with another slightly unconventional relationship. Can we look at, please, Perry Saturn and Terry, please? There we go. Right, this is fabulous. This is kayfabe at its best because they look like a very loving couple right here. Perry Saturn on the left, former Army Ranger. He joined the WWE for a period of 3 years or so, during which he said he was never once sober. Not once. Not even one time. And the first day he was paired with Terry Runnels, she walked up to him saying, I don't care what you think, I am not going to have sex with you. So that's a professional relationship right there. Perry and Terry were put together mainly because I think their names sounded good in quick succession. Perry, Terry, it's very, very good. But sometimes happens in a relationship. Couple of months in, and then all of a sudden some piece of skirt comes wandering in to capture away the wandering eye of Perry Saturn. I'm not just saying that. You fell in love with a mop, Joe. You clap, but that mop's a man-stealer. Perry Saturn, as punishment in real life for beating up a jobber, as we know from our Jobbers episode, you don't get treated particularly well as a jobber.
Yeah.
He thought a jobber stiffed him, so he beat the shit out of him for real. Then they put him in a storyline where he got dropped on his head and fell in love with a mop.
It's not even a good-looking mop. You could do better.
Well, there's sexier mops out there for Perry Saturn.
Trust me.
So he had to go with it. He had to run around with his mop as his best friend, his lover. At one point, Terry had to confront him and say...
The mop doesn't even look happy about this.
It's a really scary mop when it's blown up like this. Jesus Christ. So he had to pick between Terry and the mop. She's like, you can either have all this or the mop. And he went, mop, and he took the mop. But you may want to, a little bit of a content warning here. Some distressing scenes coming up. Moppy's fate, unfortunately, was the least happy of all the fates we're going to look at here tonight. Moppy was sent into a wood chipper.
No!
Yeah, Raven killed a mop.
Raven. He kidnaps children and he destroys mops.
I was kind of hoping that Raven would have like a little baby Moppy and be like, the divorce was your dad's fault, right? And, Alas, not. This was not after, though, that Perry had done a good missing persons campaign. He got Moppy on cartons of milk saying, have you seen this woman? Trying to really get the word out there. So that's pretty much romance as I see it. I mean, we're coming into our final stretch here now of romantic things, Joe. I mean, have you got one you want to come at me with?
Yeah, again, another really cute couple. It's Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano.
Oh, yes, very good. Look at that, wrestling each other.
Yeah, that's what makes them kind of extra cute, really, is that they wrestle each other sometimes. That happens. That's quite unusual, even within wrestling.
I like that Johnny Gargano, such as him breaking in the barriers, not only is he was okay with wrestling women, he'll wrestle his own wife.
Yeah. That's
pretty amazing. Lovely kids there at their wedding, absolutely, there's nothing could come between these two, absolutely. Oh! Boo! You think you're the best man, you're just a bad boy, that's all you are, Tommaso Ciampa.
Do you reckon his best man speech was just silence?
He sat cross-legged, Johnny Gargano, boy. Do you want to see these two wrestle again in future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, mainly I want to see Candice LeRae just beat the shit out of Tommaso Ciampa.
What's a tasteful way to book a man and a woman who are married wrestling each other? Because there's a lot of dodgy things that have happened in wrestling's past, so you maybe don't want to have man and wife wrestling each other. So can you think of a tasteful way to do it? I'm really putting you on the spot here.
You have really put me on the spot, but it's okay. I've actually thought about this before.
Can you make it right, please?
Yeah. The way I would do it is within the current angle that they're all in at the moment on NXT. I'd have Johnny Gargano slowly turn into Tommaso Ciampa. And Candice LeRae goes, you know what, you're not the man I married, you're not the man I fell in love with, I hate who you've become, and I don't see this relationship going any further, I think we have to end this. And then they wrestle.
And what, she wrestles him in such a way that is like, yeah, okay, I'll continue to be your lawfully wedded husband.
No, they just wrestle.
Okay, that's all right. Get out of your
reason.
Okay, that's a pretty romantic one. I'm going to come at you with, this is my wrestling OTP right here, folks, okay? And I know there's a lot of loving couples who we maybe haven't mentioned here, and I'm sure everyone's got their fave, but we have to keep the list tight, we have to keep it watertight, and only put in the most romantic, the most fitting couples possible. That's why I want to talk a little bit about Dawn Marie and Al Wilson. Now, here we go, Joe, okay? Now, this may shock you.
Is he wearing a nappy? I'm genuinely asking.
I think he actually is. Okay, so Dawn Marie, there she is. Dawn Marie, the young, vivacious Dawn Marie, she was feuding with Tori Wilson, who was a wrestler on SmackDown at the time. This is around 2003. It may shock you folks, Paul Heyman wrote this storyline. Who'd have thought, But in this storyline, to get at Tori Wilson, who she actually was in love with, okay? She was in love with Tori Wilson, was trying to play mind games with her. She decided to seduce Tori Wilson's father, Al Wilson. And there's all these provocative scenes where Tori Wilson's like, wow, what a great match. I'm going to go back to the locker room. And then she's in the shower naked with her dad. And then the next week her dad's like, I'm sorry I was naked with your wrestling rival, Tori, but I'm in love. It got to the point where they got married.
Yeah.
Dawn wanted to marry in the nude, and they settled in nappy and lingerie instead. But the best thing about this is they went to hell with tradition, you know? They went to hell with tradition. And they went and they had their wedding night. And we got to see all of this in WWE play out very, very tastefully on the wedding night. Al was a little bit of a love machine. Turns out Dawn could barely keep up with Al Wilson. He was such a goddamn stud muffin. And he died. We had a very tasteful graphic that was then shown. As a result, she had sex with Al so much on their honeymoon that she killed him.
So did he actually die in real life?
I love the idea of Vince McMahon being like, we gotta make it look real, pal. Come on, it'll be good for your career, good exposure to kill you. So yeah, Al Wilson, in memory, in 1941 to 2003.
So he did actually die?
No, the character just died.
Oh, okay.
This is one of these very tasteful moments in wrestling, like when Vince McMahon died, when it's just for a bit of a laugh.
Right, yeah.
Come on, So they had a 10-bell salute, all that stuff for him. Now, it does get a little bit worse than that. Okay? I've actually even missed out. There was a bit, to stop the wedding, Dawn was like, if you come and have a lesbian makeout session with me live on pay-per-view, I won't marry him. And she did, and she still married him anyway. But this, of course, him dying wasn't the peak of this. Let's go on to the next picture here, please, Ash. It's very, very important here, okay? Yeah, they actually had a sexy cat fight in the funeral parlor.
Of course they did.
Just behind Tori there, that's Al Wilson. And then at the following pay-per-view, they had the first ever stepmother versus stepdaughter match, where she came out in a black veil because she was a widow in mourning. That is the greatest love story wrestling has ever told.
Do you Just so you know, if you ever like cheat on me or anything, or betray me in some way, I'm gonna marry your dad. I will dress up me in little lingerie.
Stay away from him.
He can wear the nappy.
You know, my dad would rock that nappy, you know
Yeah,
that?
he would.
You know what? Do your worst.
Fine, I will.
You try marry him.
I
You
will.
see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, those are wrestling's greatest love stories. Okay, so we're going to get into a Q&A, but first we do have a very, very nice announcement that we want to make. Fresh off the presses, this is hot scoop news for our live audience here, but we've just been announced that we're actually going to be on Spotify. Very, very soon, we're now going to be on Spotify. So there's another place you can listen to your favorite wrestling podcast. Right, we're going to get into a little bit of a Q&A action here now. So if we've got we're meant to have an usher with a roaming mic, please. The usher is now Ash. Ash, double duty. I love that. Anyone got any questions, please, for our Q&A? And we also have some here onto, yes, young man there.
Who do you think would make a good kayfabe couple that hasn't been?
Ooh.
Oh, that's hard.
A good kayfabe couple that has not been. Pick any two people that you think would be a nice couple in real life on wrestling.
Part of me thinks Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, because they seem to like genuinely have like quite a lot in common, and they have quite a nice chemistry.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just because I'm easily manipulated by on-screen romance. They've just tricked me into thinking that. I don't know. Who would you choose?
I would probably choose, oh, this is going to be a tough one now. I think Baron Corbin needs love in his life. You know, I think Baron Corbin and like Carmel or something like that. You know what? He could bring a lot out by being a terrible boyfriend. I think that Baron Corbin, if we had backstage segments of him like playing Overwatch or something, right, and he has to make his girlfriend watch or something like that, I think that would be very, very accurate use of Baron Corbin's time.
The worst boyfriend.
I know you've been like telling a lot of people recently that Nikki Cross in NXT has got like a lot of crossover with certain characters. Would you pair Nikki Cross with anyone in NXT?
If I was going to pair Nikki Cross with anyone, I think I'd have to match her with like Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
I don't know, they're cute. They're cute. Although having said that, Nikki Cross and Shayna Baszler, they had some serious chemistry when they would choked each other.
I was going to say, right? We ain't into that, okay? Don't think for a second that there's any sort of choking going on here. Right, we got any other questions, please? We did ask people to prepare some questions for this portion of the show. In the corner over there, please. Yes.
Who's the better OTP, Hiromu Takahashi and Daryl, or Abyss and Janice?
Oh my God. Okay, so Daryl is a cat.
Right.
A soft toy cat. If only we had an image to illustrate it.
I think I've seen him.
Yeah, very, very cute.
Black and white cat.
Yeah.
Stuffed toy, yeah.
Iconic, I would say, as goes far to say as. Oh, by the way, a couple I would put together, just sorry to go back, just realized, I said iconic, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. Come on!
I thought that, and I thought, no, they're best friends.
It's too obvious, is it?
Well, I just wouldn't want to ruin their friendship.
I guess, no one's ruined friendship. But sorry, the other thing he said was Abyss and Janice. So there was this character in TNA, okay? His name was Abyss. He was a big, scary dude. He wore like a leather mask. He would go, he was very, very intense. He looked pretty much exactly like Mankind, but just enough so I wasn't breaking copyright. Like my brother used to work in the shoe business, and he told me, like, if you make 6 basic changes to the design, you're technically not copying, and Abyss has done those 6 changes. He's in the clear right there. But he had a board with nails in it, and he was proper in love with this board with nails in it, and he would, caress it. He'd talk to it.
How do you caress a board with nails?
The sides, because if you do the front, you just get scabby hands. It's not good at all. So I'm going to go as far to say that a love between a man and a soft, cuddly toy is much better between the love of a man and a board with nails through it. Because you don't know where those nails have been, It could be really, really bad stuff. Right, any other questions, please? If not, we've got some here in our, we got some from Twitter and Facebook. Do think of some questions, folks. Joe, you want to?
Got one over there?
I've got one over there in the corner, yes.
Do you think Sonya Deville's going to get Darren Young'd in that she's the first openly out lesbian? And Darren Young was probably the first openly out gay guy, and he basically got depushed and eventually got rid of. Do you think that's going to happen to her? Do you think she's actually going to break through that ceiling? Because obviously I hope she does
I don't assume that they're going to put her in a lesbian storyline per se, but I really hope they don't Darren Young her and just make her straight.
Like, I don't understand why. Like, it's such an obvious good PR thing for the company, and like this is really weird about Darren Young. Like, he comes out as he comes out on like TMZ and he says I'm gay, and he wants to be open about it. And he was like the first wrestler on the roster to ever openly come out and say it, like active wrestler. And then he kind of like disappeared down the cards. And I always wondered if that was more to do with the fact that he had been there for like 10 years already, and they'd already kind of decided, we don't like this guy that much, and he just kind of waited out his time, and then they got rid of him quietly. Whereas, I don't know, I think Sonya has got, like, she's only just started her career, but I don't know, I wonder if it's a bit of a dangerous thing to assume that everyone wants to be a spokesperson and to be, like, put out front and center like that. I mean, can you imagine the shit that Darren Young and Sonya Deville have gotten on their, like, timelines? Like, probably some pretty nasty, hateful stuff.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I just think that, like, do you want to see, like, gay angles in wrestling?
Yes, but not while Vince McMahon is still alive. Like, he will ruin it.
But like Stephanie said like 2 or 3 years ago, don't
Stephanie
worry.
said.
You don't think it's going to come through?
I don't trust a word out of Stephanie McMahon's mouth.
Because here's the thing, I don't think WWE could help themselves. I don't think they could kind of go, okay, we're just going to have characters who are gay and characters who are straight, or characters where it doesn't really matter. And honestly, I don't think it should matter. That's the thing.
No,
I
it
think we
shouldn't.
need to label them. But I don't think they can't help themselves with going, you know what, we're going to have a really riveting, dramatic story about a gay wrestler who gets targeted or whatever. And I think if they do that, you're just going to play into a section of the fans that are going to cheer for the fucking wrong guy.
Mm-hmm. I think the first step for them, before they even try any kind of angles involving homosexuality, I should say, would be just to have a character that is gay, and it's nothing to do with their storyline.
I mean, like Finn Balor, the stuff with him.
What do you mean?
Well, like, he came out and he's like, he has Balor Club for everyone, he had multicolored shirts, he brought out a group of young hip people all wearing his shirt.
Yeah. Was
that an effective kind of non-confrontational way of saying, hey, we support LGBT? Don't try and tongue twister it, but we support that community. Like, you know, is that like a positive thing, them doing that, or is that kind of shying away?
I mean, I think that was up to him to do that. I think it was his idea. They didn't make him do that or anything like that. And also, it's very different from a man to sort of advertise pride than a guy coming out and saying, yeah, I'm gay, this is who I am, and then going about his business as usual.
So in terms of being an ally, he's pretty much on par with Halifax, is what you're saying there. He's got the little sticker in the corner there. Do you want to take one of these questions
Absolutely.
here from our Twitter and from Facebook? We got some ones in here.
Mm-hmm. We have one from I Like James T on Twitter. This is for both of us. What's an opinion you have now about wrestling or a wrestler that you would have completely disagreed with when you first started watching?
Oh, man.
I'll go first because I know this one's easy for me. Mine's Brock Lesnar. When we recorded our episode on Brock Lesnar, I think I said at the end of the episode, he's now my favourite wrestler ever. And that couldn't be further from my opinion now than like possible.
When was it? Like, what was going on that made you say that Brock Lesnar was one of your favourite wrestlers?
It was around the time when he was feuding with Seth. And honestly, I think it's just because Seth was so good and they had the whole angle with him pulling off doors off cars and throwing shit around. It was great. That was like the best of his career, I think.
That's how good Seth Rollins is that he accidentally made you love Brock Lesnar in spite of everything you know about him.
I mean, Brock Lesnar gave us shit then as well. He obviously doesn't now.
No, do you want to see Brock back?
Not really.
Who in the room wants to see Brock Lesnar come back within 6 months? All right, legitimately, if you never saw him again, ever, anyone like never want to see him again ever?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wouldn't mind that actually. Oh
man, God, he's got to hunker down, do some work on the brand, Brock. Figure that out.
So go on, who did you choose?
I mean, not necessarily. Like, there's loads of wrestlers who I've changed my opinions of over time. Like, there's loads of wrestlers who like when I was a kid, I hated, and then I do like a podcast where I have to go through every match of theirs in excruciating detail. I realize, oh, Turns out when I was 10, I didn't know shit, you know. But honestly, from doing the podcast with you, there's a couple of things about wrestling that I've kind of maybe stuck in my head a little bit more. I am much more proud of the fact that I like things like silly comedy segments and, you know, backstage stuff, or like a dance contest or something silly to happen. I'm much more proud of the fact that I love levity in wrestling, because it's something that was kind of almost like a little dirty secret of mine. Like, I want to be like, hey, I can't wait for a really funny backstage segment tonight. But if I don't get one, I usually am a bit annoyed. Like, you know, when they did that segment recently on one of the pay-per-views and everyone's dancing in the ring, I was like, yes, great. Dancing, I love that. So I'm more open to liking the sillier parts of wrestling and kind of, you know, not being embarrassed as much by them.
Oh, that's good.
But also as well, I think I had this thing in my head, and I think it comes from the Chris Benoit situation, where it's like, there's the wrestler, and then there's the stuff the wrestler's done in their personal life, and, you know, you draw a line like that, and it's like, you don't consider or think about their personal stuff at all when you're looking at their professional career and things like that. And that's kind of like why when we started the podcast, we didn't really know which angle we were going to take, and I, very stupidly, was like, no, I'm not going to talk about all the personal stuff because it's not important. Joe needs to learn about the wrestler. But like, not knowing like Steve Austin did all that shit, and like me not even knowing that Steve Austin didn't know that shit, did all that shit, you know?
Do you think that comes though from you growing up during like the Attitude Era, during a time when most wrestlers had a very dark side to them?
Yeah, I mean, see, wrestling fans are very, very good at kind of being like, that's none of my business, I'm just going to walk away over here. You know, like everyone who grew up watching during the Attitude Era is like, yeah, Mick Foley had a really lovely family life. Way, yay, Mick Foley, woo! Like, yeah, the Austin and Rock had pretty fucked up relationships though, didn't they? But Mick Foley and his kids, woo! Yeah! Ah!
He hates his wife!
Yeah, and it's kind of like, yeah, I think it is a part growing up, and it's really, really hard for a lot of people in this generation, I think, because a lot of it has come at once, where we've had to kind of go, okay, turns out 60 to 70% of childhood heroes have got some really fucking nasty side to them. And I just kind of feel the thing I've changed about wrestling is knowing that you can find that stuff out, and it's important to know. You can still enjoy, you know, what they do in wrestling, but I think if you are actively avoiding finding out about wrestlers' backstories, because like, I know like there's a lot of people, we've done this episode on Steve Austin for Patreon, and I looked up and I found these horrible like allegations about his 2 or 3 ex-wives, and I kind of like, I know there's a lot of people who are like, you know what, I don't want to find out because I think it might ruin Steve Austin for me. And I get that, but I do think it's important. Like, you have to kind of grow up a little bit sometimes, and if you're going to put someone on a pedestal, you need to know that there's some other sides to it as well. So I think I'm a little bit more socially conscious about my wrestlers now. And I appreciate nice people in wrestling a lot more now.
That's the thing, like that's the upside to doing that. Like, yeah, it sucks to find out that like a wrestler you love is a terrible person, but how good a feeling is it when you find out that your favorite wrestler loves video games and is like a genuinely awesome, lovely person that you probably get to really get on with if you met.
Yeah, hands up here who's checked out Sandman's Twitter since we did an episode on it. It's fucking adorable.
He's so cute.
No one would have known that. You would have thought it was just one like still JPEG low res of a broken beer can covered in blood. You didn't think it'd be him and his son playing Overwatch and having a good time on the golf course.
Oh, it's unexpected. It's lovely.
Yeah. All right, got another question in the audience. Yes, in the corner over there.
Hiya. If AJ Lee comes back to WWE, how do you think her relationship with Punk is going to fare?
Oh, so I'm not sure if you know this. AJ Lee and CM Punk are married.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I do have an opinion on this. I don't think she ever will, because from what I've heard about her, she seems quite loyal to him, and obviously with everything that CM Punk has been through with the company, there is no way he's coming back. Like, no way. And if
Those are wrestling's magic words, by the way. If you say there's no way something's going to happen in wrestling,
he's definitely coming back.
Yeah,
but
3 times in a mirror, he'll come back.
If a company you worked for treated you the way WWE treated CM Punk, I would never support that company again in any way, shape, or form. So I'd like to think she'd kind of be the same, but
They didn't necessarily do it to her though, and it's
but she loves him, and they did it to him.
I feel in a roundabout way though that it's like, you know, she retired from wrestling like literally in the middle of her peak, like in the middle of those are like the 5 or 6 years where you think she's going to be the woman in the company, and she's like basically missed out on the greatest resurgence in women's wrestling ever, like, you know, in any place in the world. And I think it's really sad that she's missed out. And yeah, loyalty is great and all that, but like, I don't feel like she was put under pressure to leave, but she did out of loyalty. And I just kind of feel sad that she's kind of missed out. And if she never wrestles again or never goes back to wrestle, I think that's really shit, because it's literally like, why is the reason that you're not here doing the thing you do best to the best of your ability in front of the biggest audience possible, making the money that you should be making? It's like, well, because of my husband.
Well, not just that. She's very good at rescuing dogs.
Yes, that's true.
She works with rescued dogs, and yeah, she's doing good in that world.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird, because I think when you see someone who's clearly passionate about wrestling on screen doing really, really well, I don't think you can ever get into your head that they may not want to do it again. They may want to just stop and move on and do something else. I can never get that in my head. It's like the Terry Funk thing in my head. Every wrestler wants to wrestle until they're 80, until someone begs them to stop or leaves them or something like that. So yeah. Got another E question.
We certainly do. This one's from our good pal Ash.
Good pal Ash. Hey, we're going to get a round of applause for Ash doing our tech here tonight. You're doing the Lord's work, Ash. Thank you so much.
If Kevin is introducing Joe to wrestling via How To Wrestling, what would Joe introduce Kevin to via a podcast? I think it would be musicals.
Got any musical fans in the audience here tonight? Oh, wow, initially surprised.
Why? It's such a natural crossover. If you like wrestling, you should like musicals, and vice versa. There's so many similarities.
Okay, what are the similarities then? Because Andrew Lloyd Webber hasn't appeared in wrestling once, and that's all I've got to go on.
Right, the main one is suspension of disbelief, because I hear a lot of, I'm going to say it, mainly men, who say, I can't watch musicals because it doesn't make any sense why they suddenly start singing all the time. Have you watched wrestling? It makes no sense why they wrestle all the time. Like, honestly, no sense at all. So, yeah, I think that's the main reason. But then there's the theatrics as well. There's sometimes good music and dancing and interesting dramatic storylines. And sometimes they're way, way, way too long. That's another common theme. Sound of Music's like 3 hours. That's like, I think that's half of a WrestleMania, but that's half of a WrestleMania.
Almost as many Nazis in that as there are in actual wrestling as well.
Yeah, about the same, yeah.
If you were to book anyone on the current roster, any wrestlers that you like, who would you put into like a dream casting of your favorite musical of choice? Who do you think would fit in there nicely? Because there's no way I'm not seeing the Shield in Cats. You know the big dog would fill out that lycra.
This is really difficult because I have like 2 favourite musicals, and one is Joseph. And if I was going to do Joseph, I'd cast John Cena as Joseph. But I'd do the Donny Osmond in production where he takes his top off and you can see his rock hard abs. So,
that picture of all the veins.
Yeah, all the varicose veins.
Like, whoa, capture him again. Don't give him that coat. He looks pretty evil.
Please wear your coat more. And the other one would be Cats. And honestly, just like the entire roster of WWE, I would just put them all in there as the various hundreds of roles that are in Cats.
Now, the only issue with you doing a how-to musical type podcast is that you have already successfully shown me a few musicals. We have watched, as you said, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I think it was like the night before your surgery in Poland, we watched, what was it, Jesus Christ Superstar?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, Sam, by the way, Easter special on Cinema Swirl this year. Jesus Christ Superstar, okay? You've not seen that film, mate, have you? Perfect, great. And one of we tried to watch Cats.
Like 3 times we tried to watch Cats, and every time I think you got bored and insisted we stop and do something else.
Just paperwork just mounds up on a Saturday night, guys, you know? You
sure.
just have to stop.
All that podcasting paperwork.
Any other musicals you would really want to show me?
Chitty Bang Bang, it's near the top of my list, and Mary Poppins as well.
You show me Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Great. It's a borderline musical.
It's not, yeah. That is the real one, right? That's the one where I was the man going, why are they singing? Because they go like 45 minutes, right, in this, no one's singing. And it's like, oh, where are we now? Oh, it's Portobello Road. Portobello Road, Portobello Road.
What else are they supposed to do at Portobello Road? Go shopping?
Well, I've never been, so I've never started to sing, I guess.
We'll go and we'll sing the song.
I think wrestling needs a wrestling-themed musical to finally happen.
Yes,
right?
it does. It needs one so badly. Oh my God, I'm so passionate about that. That needs to happen.
No one steal our idea.
No, please do. Steal it and do it, because can you imagine the work involved in that? I don't want to do that.
You seen the size of Lloyd Webber's gaff, his house? Seriously, we could be making the Webber money.
And end up looking like Andrew Lloyd Webber. No, thank you.
Okay, we've got any more questions in the audience, please? Front row here, yes?
Best and worst WWE network programming.
Oh,
that's really hard.
There's a few we're really partial to. Like,
yeah.
Ride Along is always a good laugh.
Yeah, Ride Along, Table for Three is also great. But worst. I mean, some episodes of Ride Along are the worst. The one with Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair.
Oh God, please describe if you've not seen it seriously.
It's
Don't
kind of
watch it. Just listen to the nice lady say it and that's enough.
Right, so you know the idea of being tortured? It's like that.
I'm aware.
Yeah, it's just that in a car. No, they just ignore each other. It's really awkward. They've got a timer on saying like number of minutes that they've not spoken to each other. She tries to like get out of him how much he loves her and he's just like, no, I'm not gonna even reveal how I feel about you whatsoever. It's so awkward.
It's weird because Flair, like, he can't act like the camera's not on. It's because the camera's on him, so there he has to be like Ric Flair, and he has to be like, oh no, I don't love my daughter, woo! You know, he can't be like the loving dad. And he's not even fucking driving either. He's just sitting staring at the window.
Yeah.
Anyone, whether falling asleep as well, is like generally dangerous.
Oh yeah, the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens one is just upsetting.
Yeah, Alicia Fox, like, I'm a little bit too sleepy to text behind the wheel, guys. Can someone just take this? I've got to put my eyes down for a second. Like, you know.
The actual worst programming though?
I'm going to say the story time, that animated show that they do. Because honestly, like, we've, you and Dan did animation for Cinema Swirl that legitimately was done on a shoestring budget that manages to mask the fact that it's on a shoestring budget more than story time, which is the bottom of the barrel, like, clip art. I didn't know all the wrestlers were clip art, but they were there already, like.
What was that show that Corey Graves did?
Was it Culture Shock?
That's the one. That's the worst one.
Whoa, I'm here to shock you. I'm going to a Comic-Con. And I'm going to meet a lot of cool people. Wow.
Around the time that we started our Patreon, we were looking for more things to cover and review for content, and I think we started watching that, and then we went, no. I don't
Holy Foley is
no, not Holy Foley!
Or as I like to call it, oh no, Lee Foley. It's really like, yeah, that shattered the myth I had. Like, if I was 10 years old and someone came back and showed me an episode of that, I would have stopped watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, so everything is a lie. No more of this for me.
Frank the Clown is there.
I forgot it. Oh man. Do you ever have a repressed memory come out so fast it gives you like a whiplash effect? God. Okay. Got any other questions in the crowd there? Yeah, young man over to the right hand side, please. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, since recently we had the Sasha and Becky angle where like you had them like split up and then get back together, but they go back together with Sasha saying she loved Becky, and it just seemed to not Becky, sorry, Sasha and Bailey.
Sasha and Bailey.
And it just seemed to go nowhere, and I was wondering like, what are your opinions on storylines that seem to suggest something and then just drop it?
Yeah, that was definitely the most alluding to, like next week we're going to really get, no, they're just tag team partners. I mean, I think it's healthy to say that you love your friends.
Yeah, we do that often with all our friends.
Billy, Adam, all my friends in the back, Dan, I love you guys. Alice, okay, Alex, I love you guys. Yeah. It's a good idea to tell your friends you love them. But I mean, they weren't doing that in like a, you should tell your friends you love them.
Yeah, it was a kind of implied romantic thing.
Yeah, when you tell your friends you love them, oh, Sam, I love you and Joe as well.
Oh, God.
I've got too many friends.
Oh, there's so many.
You know, someone's going to be left out now. I've just lost a Christmas present right here. But I think, yeah, when they say that, you shouldn't get the response from the crowd going, ooh. That's not the noise you make when two friends say they love each other. That's like when you think, ooh, you know, we're going to get some hot action on our screen. I don't know. I feel like they were baiting them in more ways than one.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, any other questions? Let's see, gentlemen in the front row here. We have to make the usher walk lots, you know. Got to get them 10K steps in.
So you mentioned in wrestling like the never say never type thing. In terms of how-to episodes, is there sort of any ones you really don't want to do? In terms of...
there are definitely ones we don't want to do. We've already done a few of the ones we don't want to do.
Certain people called Chris.
What's that?
Certain people called Chris, maybe.
Oh, no, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're doing a Chris Benoit episode, absolutely, and it probably won't be too long.
No, I mean, I think when we do Chris, it's going to have to be almost 2 separate episodes. And I think almost we will release them at the same time, because I don't want to imply you should listen to one before the other. You know, don't listen to both at the same time and see if they'll sync up or anything.
Secret message hidden.
But like in terms of like him as a wrestler, I think like, yeah, it's important to talk about that. I think, but at the same time, I couldn't in good conscience release that episode. But at the same time, releasing another episode where it's like, here's what he did, and more importantly, the media's reaction to it, the company's reaction to it. Like, look at, it's 10 years now. You know, it's just gone past the 10-year anniversary. And kind of looking like, if something like that happened in wrestling today, with the WWE PR machine the way it is, like, I think you'll be shocked to see how they handled it.
Oh, I bet I will be.
And like, the people they sent out, the talking points that people were given, the way the media, like, the media literally at one point, like, John gave an interview where he was like, there's no steroids in wrestling. And then they literally clipped it together, so it's like, I take steroids in wrestling. You know, Mr. Cena, no! Like, you know, it was really bad. So, like, I think it's fascinating subject material. And if you don't mind me saying so, if we can get through talk about Vince McMahon in one piece, we can certainly get through that as well, you know? So, I think there's nothing that we wouldn't do, but now that we're both full-timing, we're able to, like, kind of dedicate more time and energy. There's Vince Russo or McMahon never would have been done if we weren't both doing this full-time. Never.
I think there are certain wrestlers that maybe aren't big enough stars to warrant their own episodes, but we've been talking about that, and we were considering maybe at some point doing like mini episodes on like wrestlers that we want to talk about, but this maybe doesn't justify a full episode.
Yeah, we still get hate for doing a D.L. Brown episode. And to those people I say, you better recognize the lack of good opinions you have. All right, any other questions, please? In the, yes, the lady in the red at the back, yeah, lady in the red there, yeah. Yeah.
So we've had a lot of fun this afternoon, but I think that one of you does actually have a question for the other.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Shit, man, pennies. All righty.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah. So my question. I wanted to ask you, Kevin, what you thought were the long-term implications of a no-deal Brexit.
Oh, okay. I recognise your question is very important, Joe, and I do think it's very important that we do consider the long-term effects of no-deal Brexit, but no deal is better than no deal. And people are tired of hearing from experts, so that's enough for me, really, on that front. But thank you very much for your question, I really appreciate that. Okay, we got time, we've got 5 minutes for last few quick-fire questions. Anyone in the crowd there? Yes. Young man, let's stand up, please. Let people see that hockey top. There you go.
The X shirt, mate.
Yeah. Turn around so Joe can see. I was 12 years old wearing that woolen garb.
Are you serious?
And 2 grown-ass men came up to me and went, "Do you really get to suck it?" Went out of rotation after that shirt. But sorry, yes, your question, sir.
That's all right. My friend actually gave this to me for free.
Some friend.
Some friend he is. But yeah, my question is, do you think the wrestling business should be family-orientated? Not family-orientated. Should be a family business, because you get things like the Von Erichs where there are a lot of suicides, the bits and pieces like that. And you also Jake Roberts' family.
Oh, so you don't mean like a family business and family oriented? You mean like family run?
Yeah, family run, like family business.
I mean, from my perspective on that, it's like there's good sides and bad sides to that, I guess. But if you look at any wrestling family, like there was a DVD that came out a few years ago. I say a few, it's like 10 now, and it was like wrestling's most important families, and every one of them was like had a moment where it faded to black and white. But dude, you didn't know. Like, everyone has got some sad story, and like honestly, the thing I think that's most fucked up about wrestling being a family business is when I hear about Paige taking bumps when she was like 9 years old, and now she's got scoliosis. And you know, if it's a family business, maybe the family should fucking know a little bit better than that, you know? I don't know. I think if it's a family business, it's more likely to stagnate. I think like one of the best things that's happened, this is going to get taken out of context. One of the best things that's happened to like the WWE is Triple H like wedging his way in there to like just to question the authority of there being one person who can have any say whatsoever. But you know, wrestling families are great, but they often have high expectations on the kids. You look at Ric Flair's family, Charlotte's done great, but there's a lot of sad stories in there as well. For every happy story of a wrestling family, there's at least 2 or 3 sad ones. So
I don't think wrestling family-run businesses is a great idea because it immediately stifles diversity. It's very hard to be a properly diverse company if it's family-run.
God, an episode on nepotism in wrestling, where you look at all the awful sons and daughters like who have come through the
There are
forefront.
too many.
Oh, there are simply too many. Yeah, but that's a really good question. We got time for maybe 1 or 2 more in the corner over there, please. Yes.
I'd just be curious to hear when you choose an episode, Joe's research in terms of what that actually consists of, what you listen to, what you look at, how long you spend on that.
So I don't have to do as much research as Kevin. He has all the actual hard stuff he has to do. I sometimes will Google a wrestler and see if I can find any interesting tidbits, but I've learnt the hard way that can actually take a lot of the fun out of it. Especially if a wrestler has died and I don't know. You know, that can be a proper laugh.
That was
then.
not fun. Don't pretend that was fun. I feel so bad for doing that.
It's fun for our audience.
Yeah.
Got to hear my genuine reaction.
Yeah, that's true. Capture lightning in a bottle.
So I don't tend to do that as much as I used to. We obviously watch all the matches, and if there's anything in particular I kind of have questions for Kevin, I will sometimes ask him beforehand, or I might check with him if I can Google certain things or find out certain things about their lives. But mainly no, I just watch the matches and I form my opinions and I kind of alienate myself as much as possible from anything else.
Yeah, we kind of try to make up like a watching list, basically, essentially, and like not necessarily like the matches we talk about. We won't necessarily talk about every match we've watched. Sometimes we'll watch a few other extra matches along the way. But what we're actually really been able to do recently, and it's really great because it's such a fabulous time to be a wrestling fan or a podcaster, because there's so many great resources if you want to really go in depth on someone. Like, for instance, Kevin Owens, who we're doing next, we've already watched, like, 2 documentaries that WWE have done. We've got Cole Cabana's podcast lined up to listen to. Like, there's so many ways to get different aspects of someone's career. So we have a bit more time now. We'll often, if there is a documentary on someone, it's good, we will dip in and have a watch of it to see kind of what the company's take is on the person. But yeah, we have tried to cut down the number of matches in some cases, but instead what happens is we just kind of cut down the number of matches we actually talk about.
Yeah.
We'll still watch a few more matches, but I think watching 6 matches and talking about 6 matches, then a whole podcast is just talking about matches.
Yeah.
And that's not really what it's about, so yeah. Right, well that's obviously a great high point to end on, but we do have time for one last one. Yes, Brian, I believe, yes.
What do you consider the happiest story to ever come out of wrestling?
Oh!
Ended on a tough one.
Oh, okay. There's a story of a young man who came to this country nearly 10 years ago, who simply wanted to podcast and introduce a girlfriend to wrestling. Many girlfriends fell asleep attempting to watch wrestling at 1 a.m, but one stuck it out. Her name is Jo Graham. That's the happiest story as far as I'm concerned, because I'm selfish.
Aww.
It was going to be Otis and Mandy, but I ruined that.
You ruined that. Thanks, Kevin.
Macho Man and Liz, I mean...
I don't know, it's so difficult because there's so many lovely romances that have come out of wrestling. Like Miz and Maurice's, other than how they met, is so cute. I love them.
But not necessarily just a romance, just like a happy story or thing that's happened in wrestling that you think is maybe very happy.
Oh, what that's made me happy?
What do you think is objectively happy?
The New Day are objectively happy.
That's true.
They've made the world a brighter place for lots of people.
Well, I think that's honestly, I think the happiest story in wrestling is the fact that, you know, if you're a fan who was watching maybe in the 90s, you heard, you know, wrestlers were drinking whiskey and doing cards and drugs backstage, and now they're like, you know, getting stuff for their YouTube channels. Aiden English just launched a whiskey review channel. That's what the drinking culture is now in WWE. And I think the fact that wrestling got a bit nicer, there's still a lot of problems there, but the fact that it has shifted its way from that kind of carny, smoky rooms and more towards a more open and vibrant and inclusive place, I think that's wrestling's happiest story.
Aww.
The timer just hit 0. That's how you finish a live show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.